So good morning, guys. So right now, we are going to discuss about the blind or low visions, or the students who are blind or have a low vision. So let's start. Students who are blind or low visions. So the man's capacity to use his or her visual mechanism places him on her on top of all other creatures in the world. There is no doubt that in the list of the basic human senses, the vision is the number one, followed by the audition or the hearing, the kinesthesia or touch, the olfaction or smell, or the gustation or taste. So, according to our reference, according to the book or our reference, that our vision um, is the number one basic human senses. Why? Kay, ang ato ang vision is very sensitive all parts. Hindi naman siya like others senses, like for example yung what we call the kinesthesia or touch, nahawakan lang natin or naaano natin na feel natin kung ano ba yung mga dapat nating i-feel. So, hindi siya very sensitive. So, yung mata natin is very sensitive talaga siya, among all of the among of all the basic the our five basic senses. Kay ang atong mata is very siya, very very sensitive siya, kasi pag na for example, pag na-damage yung mata natin is very na siya, very mahirap na siya, parang magkakaroon na siya ng disease or something, like magkakaroon na ng damage dun sa mata natin. So all parts of our senses is yung vision talaga is yung very dapat iniingatan natin or very sensitive. And the next is, authority states that although man uses all his or her senses simultaneously in gathering varied stimuli from the environment, nearly 80% of all knowledge and information that man's acquire in his or her life are gained through the visual modality. So, according to this, yung mata natin is very important. Why? Kay through our through our vision, sabi dito, 80% ng knowledge natin is nakukuha natin through our vision. Like for example, yung natin, yung pag-read natin sa book, through vision yon. Ibig sabihin, through our vision, um, important siya in gathering information or knowledge. Kay through our vision, siya yung bridge, siya yung magiging bridge papunta doon sa brain natin, yung mga information na kuha natin. Second is yung panonood natin ng video or something, may pinapanood tayo on YouTube na information, mas siya, mas very talaga siya, parang mas very easy way siya, yung natin, yung mata natin or yung vision natin, para para maka-gain ng knowledge or information. So that is very important. And the next is, with the use of human intelligence mainly through the vision, man has attained superiority over all the species of the world, as shown in the tremendous advances in the technology through the centuries. So yung mata natin is very unique in other creatures. Kay yung natin, yung mata natin is very colorized. Like for example, yung kung ano yung nakikita natin, yun na yung nakikita natin, di ba? Like hindi like among sa like other species, like mga animals, di ba? Hindi yung mga nakikita natin sa video, kung ano yung nila, kung ano yung nakikita nila, ay kung ano yung sa surroundings nila, hindi yun yung nakikita nila, kasi yung nila, yung mata nila is very unique din, is very unique dun sa atin, parang difference dun sa atin. Like for example, dun sa like for example sa creature na horse, yung mata kasi nila, though iba yung nakikita nila dun sa surroundings nila, pero medyo naman, parang masasabi natin na malinaw naman yung nakikita nila. Pero kasi yung pag mo kasi, pag makikita nyo kasi sa video, yung nakikita nila is parang parang may hati dito banda. So atin kasi pag kung ano yung nakikita natin, yun yung nakikita natin sa surroundings natin. Kaya mas nadidetermine natin kung ano ba yung kung ano yung species, kung ano yung color ng surroundings natin. Kaya yung mata natin is colorized talaga dun sa kung ano yung nakikita natin. And the Next is, so I will define what kung ano yung ba yung itatopic namin. So ano yung kanina is introduction lang. So first is, so this chapter will the students to the so this chapter will take the students to the world of person who cannot see or who cannot see only a part of the real world. So yun yung itatopic. Yun yung ano namin, yun yung i-discuss namin kung ano ba yung kung ano yung mga about sa students, kung ano ba yung nafe-feel nila about dun sa mata nila, or kung sino ba yung kung sino ba yung namin, parang ipapaliwanag namin dito kung ano ba yung kung yung mga blind or low vision. So, next is, blindness changes a person's and concept seeing the world where he lives. The chapter covers the definition and concept of the blindness and low vision, the learning and behavior and characteristics of the person with the blindness and low vision. So, what are the causes of the visual impairment and the special education provision for these types of students and the special education that enable them to learn side by side where they see in classmates. So, right now, I'm going to discuss kung ano ba yung I'm going to tell to all of you kung ano ba yung kung ano ba yung mga objectives namin dito sa um, blind or low. So first, objective. So describe the anatomy and physiology of the human eye and how the process of vision takes place. Second, define legal and educational blindness and differentiate low vision from blindness. Then enumerate and describe the types and causes of the problems of the vision, and then enumerate and describe the advances in technology for a blind person, and describe the educational provision or the students with or visual disabilities. And last is, gain inspiration from the abilities of persons who are blind or have a low vision. So right now, I'm going to discuss about the anatomy and the physiology of the human eye. So there are 5 physiological or physical system in vision. Namely, so first is the protective structures. Second is the refractive parts. Then the muscles, the retina and the optic nerve, and the brain where vision takes place. So first is the protective structures. So the protective structures surround the eye to protect it from the harm. These are the bony eye socket in the skull, and dito yun sa part na yon, sa part ng eyebrow, and the producing bones in the cheeks and forehead, the lacrimation system or tear duct, and the eyebrows, the eyelids, and the eyelashes. So yung eyelid natin is very very important, kay matatawag natin siya na protective structures. Why? Kay every blink natin, or every normal naman sa tao yung pagbi-blink. Every blink kasi natin is very parang may parang may sense yung eyelid natin, kasi for example, pag polluted yung isang place na pinuntahan natin, through our eyelid, pag nagpikit tayo is mapoprotektahan niya yung eyeball natin or yung visual natin, para hindi pumasok yung mga kumbaga yung mga dumi or hugaw dun sa dun sa mata natin. And then the eye socket, which contains the eyeball. So here, ito yung eye socket natin, which contains the eyeball, where most of the parts of the eye are found, is comparable in the size to a ping pong ball. So imagine, so the eye socket, which contains the eyeball, where the most of the parts of the eyes are found, is comparable in the size to a ping pong ball. So imagine, yung isang ping pong ball, yung isang eyeball natin is very siya, size siya ng isang kasing size lang siya ng isang ping pong ball. So imagine kung gaano kalaki yung isang eyeball natin. And then it protects the sensitive mechanism for vision from trauma together with the bones of the cheeks and the forehead. Yun yung sinabi ko kanina, which is yung bones of the cheeks and the foreheads natin is connected siya dun sa eyeball natin, which is there are the protections or of our to our eyeball. And then the tear ducts or the lacrimation systems protect the eye by secreting fluid or tears that clean that clean and that keep the eyes smooth. So, yung tear ducts natin, or which is the lacrimation system, is siya yung nagbibigay ng fluid dun sa mata natin, which is to keep our eyes moist. Kasi very important yung mata natin na nagmo-moist talaga siya. So, kumbaga kung pag umiiyak tayo, very important yung luha doon kasi nga, which is yung when we keep our eyes moist, is very siya, parang siya yung nagki-clean up dun sa mata natin kasi hindi naman every time na malinis yung mata natin. So, very parang nakakatulong lang yung pagiging moist ng mata natin or yung luha na lumalabas natin kasi nga, siya, parang nililinis niya yung buong mata natin. And then, the eyelid, which is moisten and cleans the cornea through blinking. So, yung sinabi ko kanina, yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina na, when we blink, it is normal, normal lang yung pagbi-blink natin. Ang hirap mag-English. Normal lang yung pagbi-blink natin kasi nga, when we blink kasi, parang ganyan, when we blink, parang may tendency na naaalis yung dumi dun sa mata natin. So, through blinking din, parang nasi-spread niya yung pagiging yung parang fluid o yung pagiging moist ng mata natin. So, pag na-spread yun, ibig sabihin, nalilinis niya yung mata natin, which is nakakatulong talaga yung eyelid natin. And then, the eyebrows and the eyelashes touch foreign bodies that may enter the eye. So, yung yung eyelashes natin, din yan siya, very important din siya dun sa mata natin kasi when we parang kumbaga hindi kasi every time na naiiwasan natin yung dumi na pumapasok dun sa mata natin. So, through eyelashes, parang nakakatch niya yung parang nakakuha niya yung parang hindi lahat ng dumi napapasok doon sa mata natin. So, dumadaan din siya doon sa eyelashes. So, parang very important din siya doon sa eyes natin. So, parang may advantage din yung mahaba yung pilik mata. So, yon. Next is, anong bang? Ito, the muscles. So, the muscles, the muscles function to coordinate and balance the movements of the eyes. They run, raise, and lower the eyes in response to the cranial or brain nerve impulses. So, yung muscles natin is din siya, very important kasi siya yung according to our reference, it, coordinate and give balance the movements of the eye. So, parang, yung muscles natin, parang yung pagagano natin, yung pagtingin natin sa iba, yung pagbiblink natin through muscles, yan. And then, next is the retina and the optic nerve. So, the retina is multi-layered sheet of nerve tissues at the back of the eye. So, yung yung retina natin is nasa back na siya is nakaloob-looban na yan siya. Very sensitive part na yan siya. Hindi na siya nahahawakan ganon. Though yung mata natin, hindi naman talaga nahahawakan yun kasi it's very sensitive yan siya. So, masakit yan. So, the retina is the last part of the neural receptor system for vision. The retina contains some of the 137 million light receptors cells called rods and cones. So, ang alam ko, yung rods and cones is, yung rods, if I'm not mistaken, yung rods is, siya yung, for example, night, nasa madilim ka. Yung rods and cones, sila yung nagbibigay ng light doon sa para makakita tayo ng bedge yung light. So, parang pag napapansin nyo, pag madilim, parang may makikita ka na konting liwanag lang. And then, the most sensitive part of the retina is the macula, and the center of the which lies the fovea. So, yun yung last, parang nasa back part na siya. So, very sensitive part na talaga siya. So, the optic nerve is connected to the retina and conducts visual image to the brain. So, yung optic nerve, siya yung part to siya ng nerve, which is, siya yung parang for example, makikita ka ng image. Pag nakikita ka ng image, siya yung nagdi-deliver to our brain para mahulaan natin or para ma-identify natin kung ano ba yung object na meron, yung nakikita natin. And then, the optic nerve is capable of transmitting message from the retina to the brain at the speed of 300 miles per hour. So, yun yung sinabi ko kanina. And then, last part of my report is how vision takes place. The basic function of the eye is to collect visual stimuli and information in the form of mechanical energy from the environment through the physiological process called the sensation. So during the process of visual, the stimuli are converted into electrochemical form or nerve impulses through the process of the transduction. And then the nerve impulses are described as the language form that the brain understands. So yung nerve natin, which is the optic nerve, the olfactory nerve, marami kasi siya. May 12 nerve kasi yung, if I'm not mistaken, may 12 nerve yung mata natin, which is, for example, yung nerves natin or the optic nerves, sila, matatawag, according to the reference, tinatawag silang, according to my reference, tinatawag silang language form. Why? Kasi, sila yung nagbibigay ng sila yung nagbibigay nung yung through our vision kasi sila yung yung through our optic nerve, sila yung nagdi-deliver through our brain to understand what object is that, kung ano ba yung meron dito, kung ano yung ibig sabihin na to. So through our vision yun. So yung vision natin is very important talaga siya. So kailangan every time nililinis natin or parang pinoprotect natin yung vision natin. And then the optic nerve conveys the nerve impulses to the optical lobe of the brain where perception takes place in the form of visual images. So that's our how vision takes place. So very important talaga yung mata natin in all parts of the senses, all parts of the body. So kailangan very protective tayo sa vision natin. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. For the continuation of our topic, blind or low vision, I will be tackling about the legal blindness and educational definition. So, first is legal blindness. Blindness refers to the condition where visual acuity is 20 over 200 in the better eye after the best possible correction with glasses or contact lenses. Next is the field of vision, whether central or peripheral is limited to an area of 20 degrees or less from the normal 180-degree field. The person experiences difficulties in every activities, especially in discerning fine details, objects, and things in the environment. Okay, what is legal blindness? So, the government uses the term legal blindness to decide who can get certain benefits like disability or job training. It is not the same as being totally blind. Maybe you wonder, what is the difference between legal blindness and total blindness? Okay, I'll just give you a short overview about the difference between the two. So legal blindness or legally blind means a person has a corrected vision of 20 over 200 in their best seeing eye. But if visual aids such as glasses can correct a person's vision to 20 over 20, they are not considered legally blind. While totally blind refers to a complete loss of sight. Okay, maybe you wonder, di man ka nagkuha ng 20 over 200, 20 over 20, para asam na siya. Okay, I will discuss that later on. Okay, so how to test if a person is legally blind? Okay, in United States, ophthalmologists uses the Snellen eye chart. By the way, have you ever seen a Snellen eye chart? Snellen eye chart is very common in the all optical clinics. They all have this kind of chart. Okay, I will let you see an example. Okay, so this is what a Snellen eye chart looks like. So Snellen eye chart is used to measure a person's distance visual acuity. Okay, maybe sa mo punta na sige nagbalik-balik ang visual acuity, something visual acuity. So visual acuity is a measure of the ability of the eye to distinguish shape and the details of object at a given distance. Okay, so Snellen eye chart, it contains rows of letters, numbers, or symbols printed in standardized graded sizes. So makita nyo di ano na nagikan sa letter E, dako kayo until sa pinakagamay nga dili na siya maklaro. Okay. So the doctor will ask you to read or identify each line or row at a fixed distance of 20 feet. No? So ang kini fix gini siya kasagaran jud if ever kanang i-test mo sa usa ka doctor o sa ophthalmologist 20 feet gina siya ang kalayon jud para pabasahon mo ana. So when can you say that the person is qualified to be legally blind? So, if a visual acuity of 20/200 or less in the bitter eye, seeing with best conventional correction, meaning with regular glasses or contact lenses. So, if ever pabasahon mo na iabot niyo to sa kanang sa usa ka optical clinic, pabarugon mo sa 20 feet ang kalayon. So kining pinakadako dire ipabasa na kaning letter E mo na ipabasa sa inyo. If ever gani nga mabasa ninyo na, okay, you are corrected as 20/200. Okay, what's something 200 ay? So sa if ever ikaw naka VI ka or visually impaired ka, makabasa ka na 20 feet ahead sa imuha. While kung ikaw normal ka, imong mata normal, walay daot, 200 feet kaya namong basahon ang kanang letter E nga letter. Okay, nasabtan ra? So example na kuan. Example, if you can read line 1 kining dako nga A from 20 feet away while wearing your regular glasses or contact lenses, the doctor records your vision or visual acuity as 20/200 with best correction. Okay, by the way, igabot ni Madto, tagaan ka sa doktor. Tagaan ka sa doktor og eyeglasses or contact lenses. So ipabasa na si Muha dito. Ipabasa if ever tagaan ka og glasses, nya ipabasa si Muha ang kining letter A, mabasa nimo muna 20/200. Igabot nimo diri sa kining F ug P, kung dili mo siya mabasa gani, subot pasabot ana. Nasud ka sa legally blind, no? Ipabasa si Muha ang kining letter F ug P nya kanang gitagaan na kag glasses, the best na gid nga graded glasses or contact lenses nya di gyapon mo mabasa na siya. So meaning nasud ka diri sa 20/200. So but pasabot na legally blind ka. Mo na siya usa sa criteria para masud ka sa legally blind. So in the United States, they also introduce visual field as a qualification to be legally blind. So ang kining kuan, ang visual field usa po ni siya pod sa ato ang visual impairment. So visual field, it is the total area an individual can see without moving the eye from side to side. So of 20 degrees or less, also called as tunnel vision in the better seeing eye. So kita as a natay healthy nga eye or normal, if ever, like for example, if ever mulingi ta sa magbarog ta atbang sa CRMC, di ba makita na to, mag straight lang ta, makita tong CRMC nya igabot mo sa kilid, bisibag dili ka mo lingo sa imong naong, makita gyud nimo ang BS, di ba? Kay ang ato ang normal man gud nato gud nga kanang degrees sa visual field kay 180 degrees gina siya. Mga banda ka kanang straight tanan. Wherein kung ikaw naakay tunnel vision, o kung nakay tunnel vision, imo makita 20 degrees ra. Okay, so nakoy ipakita sa inyo nga picture, mas ma-analyze niyo tarong ang kining tunnel vision. So kini. So makita niyo sa igbaw, no? So kita sa igbaw healthy ay ang mata ni, but pasabot ani na siya 180 degrees nga kanang eye vision, no? Wala siya maglingi-lingi ba? Wherein nadis ubos man ni siya ang gitawag nato nga kuan, tunnel vision. Wherein 20 degrees or less ra gid niya makita gid. Kumbaga mura gyud siya tunnel. Kay lingin ra gani siya gani. Gamay ra kay kag makita siya. So usa pa ni siya sa United States nga gi-consider nila nga matawag nga legally blind if ever naa sa gaani. Okay. So benefits. Unsa may benefits nga makuha nimo if ikaw nasud ka sa usa ka legally blind or legal blindness? So makakuha ka og special education or vocational rehabilitation services, free meal service, and income tax exemption. So ang kini siya gihatag ni siya dito sa una sa United States nga kini siya ang karaan pa ni siya. So ako sa ni-interpret ang kuan. Ako na sa ni-interpret sa ako ang kining variations. So there are variations in the term visual impairment from the World Health Organization levels of visual impairment. So nata dre moderate VI or visual impairment. So Snellen visual acuity is 20/70 to 20/160. So matawag ka og moderate ka. Nakay moderate nga visual impairment. So while kung severe visual impairment, ang imong Snellen visual acuity is 20/200 to 20/400 or naa kay visual field of 20 degrees or less. Okay, nga lastly naatay profound visual impairment wherein ang imong Snellen visual acuity is 20/500 to 20/1000 or naa kay visual field of 10 degrees or less. So kini siya no, paano gini kanang padung na gini siya sa pagkabuta gino. Okay. So next is educational definition. So not all legally blind person are totally blind. In total blindness, the person is absolutely without sight but may have light and movement perception and travel vision. The degrees of the blindness include the light perception, a person can detect an object or a person in motion or still in motion, and travel vision. Field of vision is enough to travel safely in familiar areas. Okay, so first, not all legally blind person are totally blind. Okay. So akong klarohon sa inyo ha nga once gani nga matawag og legally blind, dili but pasabot ana nga totally blind ka. Wherein buta jud ka. Legally blind gani but pasabot ana naa kay makita pero with the help of mga kanang enlargement materials. Like example ng glasses, magnifying glasses, mga contact lenses, big printed books, minana. Okay, wherein kung ari ka sa totally blind man god, wala na kay makita. Okay, ar masabtag daro nga. So dili kay tungod nga totally kini siya legally blind man siya, butam ni siya, din siya klaro, no? Dili siya inana. Okay, in total blindness, the person is absolutely without sight but may have light and movement perception and travel vision. Okay, the degree of blindness includes sa ato ang totally blind, na siya degree of blindness. So first is the light perception. Second is the movement perception. And lastly, the travel vision. So first is the light perception. So light perception, a person can identify or differentiate between light and dark, day and night. So, dili kay tungod totally blind, wala na jud kay makita. Light perception. So, masih pa mag totally blind ka, masih pa ba ang tao or student kay totally blind siya, maka-determine gyapon siya nga buntag na karon, gabi na day karon. Like example, musol siya og musol siya og usa ka room. Nya ang room kay kuan gani walay window, only door. So if wala siya gipasiga nya morning siya buntag siya, maka-identify siya nga lang hiob lagi. Ano walay suga. Oh, so ma-identify niya ang kalahian sa dark og light, sa day og night. No? So second is the movement perception. So person can detect if an object or person is in motion or in still position. So arita sa kaduha niya ang movement perception po niya. So ma-detect niya if ever ang object, ang usa ka butang or ang tao kay naglihok ba siya or wala. So example, matan-awan niya, makatan-aw siya if ever makita mo niya nga ang tao nilakaw or ang yang sabi na nitabi siya ha, may bawaan niya nga kato siya nilakaw na or nagpabilin pa ba diya. So napo na siya muna gitawag niya og movement perception. Unya lastly ang ihapong travel vision. So field of vision is enough to travel safely in familiar places. So as we all know nga ang kining pagka blind nimo, di ba na uban blind pag inborn. Pero most likely ma-blind ang usa ka tawo sa and many different factors. Like example na magkasakit sa mata, no? Ni dako ka nga normal imong eye, healthy imong eye pero naabot sa time nga nagkasakit imong mata or tungod sa aging, nagka-edad ka, nagka-blurry imong eye, no? So sa panahon nga healthy pa imong eyes, na jud kay giadtuan nga mga kuan, di ba? Like example lang, butang ka lang, student ka, like for example, student ka, niadto ka, ikaw healthy pa imong eye, niadto ka sa eskwelahan. So pag adto nimo sa eskwelahan, di ba, okay pa, ma-familiar nimong places until such time nga nabot nga na blur imong eye or napadungog ka sa pagkabuta. So in some cases, maka-identify gyapon sila ana. Maka-identify sila na mabuta nga sa familiar lang nga lugar, no? Kaya gyapon na nila lakon adto kay naaman sila travel vision. Maka-familiar gyapon sila basta lang kay ang kanang lugar kay pirmi nga ginadtuan or dili gani kuan or common na gani siyang kuan gani, common na para sa yaha ba. Oh, okay. Although they are classified as blind, the person can still use his or her residual vision. So residual vision kabantay mo tong kuan, kato ganing murag sa tawa to, katong sa tunnel gani. Kabantay mo tong murag tunnel, katong tunnel vision o mo na sila gitawag og residual vision kanang kumbaga napa sila though totally blind na sila pero napag ginigamay gyud nga nahabilin sila nga makita. Medyo blurry man siya pero mao gyapon na gyud siya makita gyapon, di pero dili na ginana kakuan gyud kay blurry naman siya. Okay, so next is in special education. So children who are blind are differentiated from those who have low vision, since blind children use their senses of touch to read braille and train in orientation and mobility to move around and travel independently. So, sa special education, ang kini mga children who are blind, kay i-differentiate ni siya kaysa low vision. So, okay, ako ang tiwason. Meanwhile, a child or student with low vision learns to read materials in large print. Okay, so, gilahi ni siya ang kining totally blind o kining legally blind, kay ang kining totally blind man gyud nagdid siya og special needs. Like example ng kining braille. Braille is a tactile writing system used by people who are visually impaired. So dili ilang kay kumudig deeper ani kay one of my co-reporters iyahaning task niya lisod na mo kwanta mo overlaps ta. So mo ni siya kanang ang kining totally blind kuan gani nagneed gani siya og more gani nga attention gani, nagneed siya og more education gani in terms sa iyang pagkat-on. So munang ilahi siya kay while in ari ka og kuan man good student with low vision kay makaklaro pa man gyapon siya. Pwede pa man nato siya matabangan in terms of kanang education niya. Like materials nga kanang large print, books with large print, glasses, mga magnifying glasses, no? So matabangan mo siya muna siyang gilahi na siya kang duha kay mas severe man to ang gitong totally blindness. So as cited in Howard 2003, it emphasizes the functional use of vision. So low vision is a level of vision that with standard correction hinders an individual in the visual planning and execution of tasks, but which permits enhancement of the functional vision through the use of optical or non-optical aids and environmental modifications or techniques. So sa Bisaya pa, kung ato ang Bisaya una ni, ang low vision kay nakakuan siya. Nakakuan gani siya gani kumbaga ni hinders ni kanang siya ni sabal gani siya. Kumbaga siya mo ni babag ba. Ni babag para sa usa ka individual nga maka visual planning o execution of task. Pero in the other side pod, in the positive side pod, nakatabang po siya para pod ang imuhang mata dili gani makuan gani, dili ka mapadunggis totally blind gani. Kanang magamit gyapon siya gani or ma-use gyapon nimo siya gyapon. Dili man sa inan naka healthy pero at least nagyapon kay makita ba with the help of kanang mga visually impairment nga kanang materials. So that's all for my topic. Thank you.
So now let's move on to blindness and low vision. So the term blindness and low vision cover a wide variety of experiences, including legal blindness, limited visual acuity, and color blindness. So people with low vision, for example, have different challenges than people who are blind. Of course, lahi-lahi og challenges sila kay lahi-lahi mo po sila problem, kay ang usa buta, ang usa kay hanap og pananaw. So, let's differentiate between the two. Unsa man inday ning blindness? Unahon na tong blindness. So, ang blindness kay it refers to a lack of vision or loss of vision nga dili na makorrect kanang sa mga eyeglasses baka or sa mga contact lenses. Mo na ang blindness. So, next, unsa maning kuan? Low vision. So, ang low vision kay it is vision problem that makes it hard to do everyday activities such as kanang reading. Kay most of kuan, di ba, sa mga kasagaran sa mga kuan jud mga known nga mga hanap nagpananaw kay kani mga oldies nya kanang kuan biya kay nila kanang sana fond biya kay ni sila of reading newspapers kay ganahan sila makahibaw og balita. So kanang mga gagmay biya kay ng mga print sa newspaper, so dili na sila kaklaro ana. So ang kani mga tao nga naay low vision kay prefer ni nila nga mobasa og mga large prints kay para makaklaro sila. And also kani pud nga mga tao nga naay low vision kay dili na ni sila maka-differentiate og kanang mga colors nga naay the same use. Kay feel nila kato nga colors nga gipa-differentiate nila kay parihara to sila, but the truth is dili to sila the same sa ilahara tong pananaw because kanang kuan man sila dili naman normal ang ilhang vision. So that's it for blindness and low vision. So let's proceed to the legal definitions or legal definition. So there are two general definition of blindness. So we have here kanang kuan ang legal definition. So ang legal definition kay mao ni siya based on measurement of visual acuity, field of vision, and peripheral vision. So we have here first kay ato sang itakol ang kung unsa ni ang visual acuity. So ang visual acuity kay it is the ability to clearly distinguish forms or discriminate details at a specific distance. So also ang visual acuity, it is also called measurement ni siya to determine kanang by the letters chart test we take when we get our eyes checked sa katong kuan. So kanang kailaman siguro tag Snellen chart, right? So if wala ang Snellen chart kay mao ni siya ang eye chart test that can be used to measure visual acuity. Like kanang kuan kanang naa sa mga kanang sana kanang gamiton sa mga ophthalmologist i-check sa katong sa vision sa usa ka tawo. Mao na ang kanang ilang sukdanan kung asa kutob ang mabasa sa tawo para masukod nila kung unsa iyang visual acuity. So para may baw-an na to kung unsa gining visual acuity. So ang person nga naay kanang normal vision kay maka-read siya sa katong row of letters nga na mark siya 20/20. So ang iyang visual acuity ana 20/20. So kay nabasa man to niya dito nga part mo na siya ang kanang kuan ihang visual acuity 20/20. And also mao to siya ang normal nga mao to siya ang tao nga naay normal vision. So if kuan naman, if 20/70 ang imong visual acuity, so matawag ka nga ang imong visual acuity is poor. If kuan naman, if ang imong visual acuity is 20/200, pwede na ka kanang kuan ana, kanang pwede na ka ma-consider as legally blind kay even the biggest kanang mga letra na didto dili na nimo maklaro. So you will be considered as legally blind or nawagtanga na kag pananaw. So next we have here field of vision. So field of vision refers to the area that normal eyes cover above, below, and both sides when looking at an object or when gazing straight ahead. So field of vision kay mao ni siya ang area of space nga atong makita at the same time nga dili na to i-move ang atong mata ug ang atong head. Ang kana makita nato sa kuan, sa above, sa below ug sa side by side nga magtan-aw ta straight ahead kay mao na siya ang gitawag nga field of vision. Ang normal field of vision di ay kay 95 degrees. So mao to siya. So next, let's proceed to peripheral vision. So peripheral vision covers the outer ranges of the field of vision. So it is typically defined as everything you see off to the side of your central focus while you are looking straight ahead. It is essentially your ability to see things without moving your eyes or turning your head. Ang sa peripheral vision naman, ang kaning makita nimo sa imong left o right nga side kay mao na siya imong peripheral vision. Nga dili nimo i-move ang imong eyes o ang imong head. Mao na siya ang peripheral vision. So next kay the last one is the tunnel vision. So results from an extremely restricted field of vision. So from the word tunnel kanang kay baw man ta sa tunnel no, nakakita man siguro ta tanan og tunnel nga ang tunnel ang kilid ug kilid, ang babaw ug ubos niya kay kuan gid siya dark or wala tay maklaro kanang nya ang maklaruhan ra nato is ang kanang central part. So mao na siya ang tunnel vision. Kanang dili ang makita na lang is ang ato ang kuan central vision. Dili na ka makakita sa imong kuan sa kilid-kilid ug sa babaw sa babaw. That's it.
There are 4 causes of vision, and every causes they have a type. So first causes is the error of refraction. It means that the shape of your eye does not bend light correctly, resulting in a blurred image. So the main type of error refraction are hyperopia or farsightedness, myopia or nearsightedness, and the astigmatism. First is the hyperopia or farsightedness. The lens fails to focus the light rays from near objects in the retina. The point of focus falls behind the retina because the eye are too short from front to back. Ang mga tao nga farsightedness, muna siyang mga tao nga mga magbasa bitaw nga ipalayo nila ang ilang gibasa rather than ipaduol kay mas maklaro man nila ang object kung nasa layo. Kung nasa duol, mas blurry. So mo na gitawag nga farsightedness. Mas layo, mas maklaro nila. So to correct hyperopia, convex lenses are prescribed to converge the light rays on the retina. If grabe na gid kaayo ang imong pagka-farsightedness, it treated with laser refractive surgery to reshape the cornea to correct focusing. If mild lang siya, di pa siya kay grabe, may be corrected with reading glasses or prescription eyeglasses. But the best way to cure kay imo gyung agtugid ka sa ophthalmologist or the doctor of the eye para matagaan ka og para masukod kung unsa na ka grabe ang imong pagka-farsightedness. Kay dito tagaan kanilang mga unsay dapat buhaton para i-guide kanila. Next is the myopia or the nearsightedness. The eye are abnormally long from front to back, and the lens fails to refract the light rays from distant object on the retina. The point of focus falls in front of the retina. To correct myopia, concave lenses are prescribed to diverge the light rays from far object of the retina. Bali siya sa farsightedness. Ipaduol ang dapat iya bitong ipaduol ang iyang mata sa usa ka object in order to maklaro niya ang object. Kay mas kung ipalayo niya mas blurry. So it was totally different, or the
bali siya sa farsightedness. So the best way gyapon to correct ang nearsightedness, adto gyapon sa dadun gihapon nimo sa ophthalmologist or the doctor of the eye. So next is the astigmatism. The cornea, which normally forms a portion of spherical lens, is deformed. The refraction of light rays becomes faulty and blurred vision results. So astigmatism, it can be farsightedness or nearsightedness. Na usahay di ka kaklaro sa layo, na pwede usahay nga di ka kadaol sa di ka kaklaro sa dool. Kanang kabantay kagabi nga tutukan gini mo og pamaayo ang usa ka butang para maklaro nimo. Okay, kung sa una pa lang ganimong tan-aw, blurred na siya. So tutukan mo pamaayo in order para maklaro nimo og tarong. So there are two forms of eye laser surgery sa astigmatism. Gitawag na siya og LASIK or LASIK and the PRK. Pwede gyapon ang astigmatism mag-wear og eyeglasses, but ang the best way gyud sa tulo dadon gyud mo ophthalmologist. The second causes is the imbalance of the eye muscle. It can cause the eye to cross in or turn out and prevents them from working together. So the first type is the strabismus. Different image are cast in each retina resulting to crossed eyedness or squinting. So mo na gitawag sa to mga cross eyes or ang manukon. Kaya ba igtanaw na to sa katawo nga ang iyang mata kay dili parallel, nag-cross eyes, ang usa na sa left, ang usa na sa right. So mo na siya gitawag nga manukon or the strabismus. Strabismus can be treated by corrective lenses and surgery, and it can be both corrective lenses or the surgery. So next is the diplopia or the double vision. Result when the brain cannot fuse the differences in the image cast in the retina into a single image. The condition can be corrected by prescription lenses, exercises, surgery, or a combination of the three. So diplopia ka ng mga tao nga makakita og duha ka image in one object. So naay duha ka types ang diplopia, ang monocular o ang binocular. Ang monocular kay makakita siya og duha ka image gamit ang iyang usa lang ka mata. So ang binocular gamit ang duha niya ka mata, makakita siya duha ka image. Yes, it can be treated also. So next, the amblyopia or gitawag nila nga lazy eye occurs when vision is suppressed on eye and it becomes weak or useless. So ang amblyopia ma-develops niya siya from birth to 7 years. Magkagrabe po na siya if magkagrabe kung magkadako kuan imong edad, magkagrabe po na siya if dili nimo ma-cured dayon. Sa around 3 out of 100 ra ang naay amblyopia. So rare ra kayo siya or murag nitra kayo siya makuan sa usa ka tawo. So it can also be treated by eye patching or wearing corrective lenses. So next is the nystagmus. Is a condition in which there are rapid involuntary movements of the eyeball that can result to nausea and vomiting and dizziness. So ang kabantay ka ng mga mata sa usa ka tawo nga kanang iyang eyeball kay magtutuyok sa up and down, ni side to side. So mo na ang gitawag nga naay nystagmus. Nystagmus not cured, dili na siya maayo, but Nystagmus cannot be cured, but treatment can help. Using glasses and contact lenses, kay di gina siya makakorek sa nystagmus. One of the causes of the problem of vision is the diseases of the eye. So first is the cataract. Cataract is caused by clouding of the lens, which result to progressive blurring of vision and eventually blindness occur. So sa tuwa pa mo ni gitawag nga katarata. Katarata occurred aging or injury. So magkatiguang na or ma-injury sa tuwa. So mao nang ma-occur ang katarata. Katarata proteins build in the lens of your eye and makes it cloudy. So mo nang ingon nila mo kanon ng hugaw sa imong mata nga nag-build up. So no natural cure sa katarata, but kuha na siya, ma-lessen na siya by having a regular eye examination, stop smoking. So kasagaran mo gina ang smoking, so kuha na siya katarata, or reduce alcohol use, then uses sunglasses kung magtukas gawas, mag-use ka sunglasses, then eat fruits and vegetables para lessen ang imong cataract. So next is the diabetic retinopathy. It is a diabetic compilation that affects eye. So kasagaran nga na diabetes, so magka-diabetes ka, daghan mong gid maka-apektuhan. So kung ang imong mata mapektuhan mo, gitawag na siya diabetic retinopathy. It caused by damage of the blood vessels of the light sensitive tissue at the back of the eye. Ang back of the eye o mo gitawag na retina. At first, diabetic retinopathy may cause no symptoms or only mild vision. So sa una pa lang kuan walay symptoms. Only ka lang maghapi mong mata. Mora na ang symptoms nga imong makita sa retinopathy sa una pa lang. Sa retinopathy, there is no cure. But the best way to treat this condition is to stay on top of your health. So dapat di ka magpabaya sa imong health. Then taking care of yourself and following your doctor's instruction can help you to prevent comorbid condition from developing. So dapat kung unsay gi-instruct si mong doctor, so mao gid mo baton. The next, the diseases of the retina or the retinal diseases. The most sensitive part of the visual mechanism can congenital or represent at birth. Retinal diseases cause damage to any part of the retina. Untreated retinal diseases can lead to severe vision loss and even blindness. Kung dili nimo maagapan or dili nimo matagag solusyon, so mawagtang gyud imong panan-aw, then maabot na ka. Kung imong sayuhon, kung imong tambalan dayon, so maayo ra siya. But kung dili, mabuta jud kay kadugayan. So mo na ang diseases of retina. The next is the coloboma. Is a degenerative disease in which the central and the peripheral areas of the retina are not completely formed. So coloboma is an eye abnormalities that occurs before birth. So nara na siya, wala pa tagi pataw, nara na siya. Ma-occur na siya. Colobomas are missing pieces of tissues in the structure that form the eye. So mga tissues nga kuwang sa atong eye. There is no currently medication or surgery that can cure reverse coloboma and make the whole eye again. Treatment consists of helping patients adjust to vision problems and make the most of the vision they have. The next is the retinitis pigmentosa. It's a hereditary condition that results the degeneration of retina. So, it was hereditary, so imong mamana sa imong mama or sa imong parents. Then the methods of treatment includes gene therapy, stem cell therapy, and visual prosthesis. Then lastly is the glaucoma. It's a condition in which there is excessive pressure in the eye. Glaucoma is a group of eye condition that damage the optic nerve, the health of which is vital for good vision. This damage is often caused by an abnormally high pressure in the eye. Glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness for people over the age of 60. So, kana magkatiguang na. But it can be heredited means it passed from parents to children. Less common causes of glaucoma includes blunt or chemical injury to your eye, severe eye infection, black blood vessels inside your eye, and inflammatory condition. Treatment and regular checkup can help slow or preventive vision loss, especially if you catch the diseases in its early stages. Glaucoma is treated by lowering your eye pressure.
So hi, I am Justin Lakin. My report is all about special adaptations, aids, and technology for students who are blind and low vision. So the absence of sight leads to the coordination of the sensory mechanism, while vision is the major sense that gathers with stimuli in the environment for processing in the brain. Blindness makes the person dependent on other senses like audition or hearing, feeling or touch, olfaction or smell, and gustation or taste. So akita sa for blind person. So first is braille. So is the system of reading and writing in which letters, words, numbers, and others are made from arrangement raised by embossed dots. So blind students learn to read and write with braille by using the braille like a typewriter with the 6 keys. So braille was invented in 1830 by Louis Braille, a young blind fisherman who played the organ in church as a means of recording church hymns and music. So second is typewriter or braille typewriter for communication and handwriting is taught for them to sign needed papers. So blind students use the regular typewriter to communicate. So gigamit sa mga blind students ang regular typewriter para mag-communicate sa ilang teachers, classmates, and friends. So handwriting is taught so that they can sign their own names, handle bank accounts, fill up forms, and also to vote. So third is manipulated and tactile aids. So are used in learning mathematics, sciences, and social studies. So and also the cross-nair roads with tactile markings developed ni Bill Castro in 1989 para madali ang mga students nga ma-identify nila by touch the different values associated with the numbers. So an example ano ang Kroner abacus. So ang Kroner abacus used in teaching numbers concepts and in doing the four fundamental operation. So fourth is technological aids. Is a sophisticated computer with an optical character recognition or OCR system that scans and reads via a synthetic voice typeset and other printed matter. So next is assistive technology. So enables blind person to access to personal computers. So computer access open them to countless opportunities for education, employments, communication, and leisure activities. So, arinata for a person with low vision. So, first is special optical devices to enlarge and to see regular prints clearly. Example, corrective eyeglasses and contact lens. So, familiar ni sa ang mga example. So, second is large prints. So, some books and other materials are available in large prints. So, magamit og magnifying glass. So, third is classroom modification. So, providing materials that will enable the student to use vision. So, example, adjustable desk and special writing paper. So, fourth is recorded books, magazines, and other materials. So, come with a synthetic speech equipment that plays the tapes and a faster rate. So, example is audiobook. So, that's all. Thank you for listening.
So good morning everyone. So my name is Rachel Lepon. So I am the reporting from this now sa amo ang topic. The education of students with visual disabilities. Vision impairments can results katong na mga daghan nga mga causes like kanang eye disease, brain trauma, kanang congenital conditions, injury. So gi-discuss to sa ako ang kanang usa ka group member. Then a person is considered legally blind if his or her corrected vision is no better than 20 over 200, meaning seeing at the 20 feet what others see at 200 feet, or having peripheral fields side vision of no more than 20 degrees diameter or 10 degrees radius. So meaning ani is kanang matawag kunog kanang legally blind ang usa ka tawo if kanang ang kutob sa iyang makita is 20 feet ra. Kay ang normal nga kanang tawo ang kutob sa ang normal nga tawo ang makita gani nila nga kuan is 200 feet. So matawag siya og legally blind if 20 feet ra ang iyang makita sa iyang palibot. The special education teacher teaches skills and concept that most children learn visually through remaining senses. So ang usa ka kanang person if naa siya low vision gani is naa siya remaining senses nga kanang sense of hearing, smell, and kanang touch. Then example aning sa kaning sense of hearing kanang the students can develop an auditory perception of objects by using sound waves through echolocation. So example ani kana ganing kanang ganing naadri nga mo murag badyong kanang 12 noon. So makaingon siya ana sa iyang kuan nga ay kanang once nga mabagting gani na igaod to kuan na siya nga kanang 12 noon na di ay ron. So kanang lunch break na di ay. Then sa sense of touch, the sense of touch allows a student to determine the shape, size, temperature, texture, and width of any object. So if mohikap ka sa usa ka object or sa kanang usa ka butang is maka-identify na sad biya ka. Like kanang moadto kag kusina niya, mahikapan nimo ang katong murag lingin. So maka-kuan ka nga ay mao ni siya ang plato or mao ni siya ang kanang kuan ingana. So the Braille codes are learned, the Filipino Braille Code and the English Braille Code American Edition. So ang kaning American Edition nga Braille Code is by the way ang Braille Code di ay kay a form of written language for blind people in which characters are represented by patterns of raised dots that are felt with the fingertips. So mao ni siya ang kanang Braille Code. So ang code sa letter A until sa Z. Then ang kaning Braille Code is na siya tanan na siya alphabet, numbers, punctuation sign, kanang additional symbols like kanang degrees, dollar or percent. Then katong kuan naapod siya kanang short form word kana ganing sa usa ra siya ka kuan. Then basta ay kanang sa usa siya ka usa siya ka code pero usa siya ka code pero kanang kuan na siya kanang mao to siya guys, no? Then next, some blind students who read Braille prefer to take their own notes in class using a slate and stylus or a Perkins Brailler, though both are being replaced by laptop computers and other technical devices. So ang kani di ay Perkins Brailler kay mao ni siya kaniyang braille typewriter with a K corresponding to each of the 6 dots of the braille code, a space, a backspace, and a line space. So naa sad siya ana sa ilahang ang kaning Perkins Brailler kay mo ni siya kanang kanang encoder kanang typewriter sa kanang typewriter for kanang low vision para ra ni sa ila din. Ang ilahang keyboard is there are kanang 6. So ang mag-una dito is 3 2 1 dayon 4 5 6. Then nanigi siya ay sa guys kani ganing sa for example sa letter A kanang naay kanang color nga black mo na siya number 1. Then ang ubos ana number 2, then 3. Then the kaning second line sa igbaw kanang 4 5 6. So ang mag-una sa keyboard nila kay kaning 3, kaning nasa ubos, then 2, then 1, then 4 5 6. Ingana ilahang typewriter guys. Then wala lang nako siya na-appeal ang picture gani mapakita ang taton nako. Then some blind students will get copies of notes taken on carbonless paper. Kana ganing kabantik mo na nang mamaligig masyaw sa una kanang color blue kanang makikuan na sila sa ilang classmate para inig kausara mo suwat is kanang bali 2 copies na duha ka kopya na ang makuan. Then other blind students tape record the lecture and later transcribe notes from the tape into braille. So kuan gani ang uban kanang kanang i-record gani nila og unsay kuan sa kanang gidiscuss sa maestra, then after ana is kanang ilahan nang isuwat kanang iguli ba nila sa balay or kanang vacant nga time ilahan nang ilara nang balik-balikon og kanang kuan balik-balikon nila og play para kanang then ilahan nang isuwat dito or ilaha ganing ikato sa ilahang braille code. Then it is easier from blind students to study from tactile copy rather than from recordings. So kay og recordings manggod ko sila mag-study is kanang kuan man gyud dili kay nila magets dayon bala binagpaspas kay ang pag-discuss or kanang slow learner ang usa ka low vision, di ba? Though some blind students are able to develop strong auditory compensatory skills over a period of time. Some blind students use guide dogs that are specifically trained and usually well disciplined. Most of the time, the guide dog will lie quietly under or beside the table or desk. Then, how can you make your students with visual impairments feel comfortable in your classroom? So, akong nakuan is 9 kabuok. Then, first, introduce him or her as you could any of your students. So, introduce sad na nimo ang kanang imuhang students nga naay low vision. For example, kanang transferee siya, then kanang imo siyang introduce sa imuhang seeing students nga kanang mao ni si gikan ni siya sa kanang eskwelahan, mao ni siya ingana. So kanang moyong ka nga kanang respect others kay para sad nga kanang or be good to his or her para sad nga kanang dili sad siya kanang para sad naa siya friend. Then number 2, include him or her in all class activities. The special education teacher can offer suggestions on how may go about the child's full and active participation in class activities. So, og unsa bisag unsa nga kind sa inyong activities is i-appeal gina nimo siya kay para kanang may bawan sa nimo kung kanang slow learner ba siya, inana gani fast learner ba siya, then para sad nga kanang active siya sa kanang mga activities nga inyong buhatonon kay if imora na siyang pasagdan, di ba? Kanang kuan sa na siya nga ay di na lang ko mo kuan, ay di na lang ko mo participate, di na lang ko mo chemo inana kay murang gyapon ingani ra ko low vision ako then makakuan sa siya murag i-down niya yan so dapat kanang i-encourage nimo siya nga kanang papilon inana gani. Number 3, all children want to be a leader in class activities, so extend the same opportunity to the blind child. So kung mo kuan gani, di ba, ang kasagaran kanang mostly sa elementary students kanang ganahan gyud na sila ma-leader kay kanang para ingnon nga may kaayo inana then ang usa gani ka student if ganahan gyud siya nga ang katong low vision gani nga students if ganahan gani siya nga kanang ma-leader sa kanang group is kanang i-consider sa na nimo siya kay basin di ay na siya idea na siya knowledge, di ba, and para sad nga kanang maka-participate sad siya sa tanan nga activities. Number 4, the same disciplinary rules that apply to the rest of the class should apply as well as to the child visual impairment. He or she may be not excused from school rules and regulations because of his or her conditions. So mo ni siya ang pinaka the best nga para gani nga kanang how can you make your students with visual impairment feel comfortable in your classroom. So mo ni siya ang pinaka the best nga kuan gani kay para kanang ug unsay rules and regulations sa schools or sa classroom ninyo is dapat i-apply sad sa iyaha. Then number 1 jud is respect, di ba, kay kanang mo gyud na siya mo pinaka golden rule man siguro, if kanang correct ba ko sa ako lang nakon mo na siya ang kanang golden rule, di ba, kay once nga kanang respetuon nimo ang usa ka low vision nga students is kanang ang katong seeing students sad nimo is kanang mo respeto sad biya to. Then number 5, encourage the blind child to move about the classroom to get the materials or to do in certain activities. So kani pong mga elementary, di ba, elementary days or students kay ganahan gini sila sugo-sugoon. So kanang if kuan gani ug ganahan nimo siya suguon, di ba, lain po kay suguon nimo nga kanang kuan pod kanang lisod pod kaayo, kana lang pong lisod kanang sayon-sayon, lisod-lisod noon, kana lang pong sayon-sayon, like, or maybe kanang og lisod-lisod man gani is kanang may nga na ka nga kanang kuan kanang for example kanang kuanin ninyo nya uban mo ni kanang kuan inana kanang naagi siya kanang bodyguard or na siya something kauban gani kay para sad nga basin unyag maunsa didto sa unahan naapoy kanang magkauban gani simba ko lang pod nga or sa mahitabo. Then number 6, motivate the seeing classmate to become interested in topic related to vision and visual impairment. You may integrate these topics in the different subjects. For example, katong use the Braille code, no? Kani siya is kanang ang imuhang seeing students kanang imuha sad silang kanang i-become kanang interested gani sa kanang about sa kanang low vision nga topic. Like example sa kanang sa Braille code, no, katong Braille code kay kanang basin di ay kanang ang usa ka kanang seeing students, no, kay maamiga niya or maamigo niya ang katong low vision nga students, katong nga bata iyang maamiga or maamigo. Then dili sila makasinabot, no, og kanang kuano kanang og sinyas-sinyas amang-amang. So ang katong seeing students is kanang dapat pwede po siyang mo study sa katong Braille code para kanang magkuan na lang sad gani siya, mag code na lang siya niya kung ano na sad to sa kato ang katong low vision nga students, kanang para sad nga kanang makasinabtanay sila. Then number 7, your acceptance of the child with visual impairment will serve as a positive example to his or her seeing classmates. So mo to, kanang if kanang girespeto nimo ang imong low vision nga students is mo follow na sa to imong seeing students, kay for example kanang imong kanang sana imuhang or unfair baka sa imuhang sa time sa klase, unfair baka nga pagka maestra or maestro, then or maybe kanang imuha siyang basta dili gani nimo siya kanang kuan, kanang dili nimo siya irespeto or kanang basin nimo na siyang kanang kuan bitaw na siya, inana bitaw na siya nga pagkabata, so daan na nako kanang kuan na siya. So dapat kanang respeto sa gani ang imong ipakita sa mga seeing students nimo. Then number 8, when approaching the blind students, unless he or she knows you, always say who you are instead of asking him or his to guess who you are. So mo ni, di ba, kung mo approach pod ang usa ka blind students or low vision, no? May og once ka moduol na sa imo is moingon jud ka nga ako si kanang kuan, ma'am, kuan ingana, kay basin lisod biya og kanang kuano kanang moingon ka nga kanang igduol sa kanang low blind students, moingon ka nga kaila ka kinsa ko, tagaan ako kinsa ko, moingan agay ka, di ba na pwede nga na. So dapat magpaila ka nga ako kanang moingan ka, nagunsa man ka diri kanang kuan, kanang Mike, nagunsa man ka diri, kanang nagunsa man ka sa kuha, ako di ay si kanang teacher kuan ingana. Then kay kuan biya kanang, di ba, kanang voices are not always easy to identify, particularly in crowds or kanang stress situations, labi nag mga kuan, labi kanang pare-parehag tingog, so kanang maglibog sad biya na sila, kay abi kay na sila sense of kanang hearing, no? Dapat sad kanang moingon ka nga kanang ako si kuan, kay para sad kanang mailhan gani nila dayon. Then ang number 9, the blind students may exhibit certain mannerism like kanang rocking, flapping the fingers in front of the eyes, or poking the fingers into the eyes. Then consult the special education teacher on how to deal with this behavior. So og unsa man gani kuan sa bata nga low vision, no, is mo largo ra jud ka adto sa kanang special education teacher, kay sila may nakaiba or kanang mga kuan gani unsa imong dapat buhaton sa kani nga estudyante if kung mo kuan ang kana iyang habit or something kuan, di ba? Then that would be all. Thank you.
My topics about Binyans about children and youth who are blind or have low vision. The following beginnings and success stories about young people who are blind or have low vision illustrate that a disability need not to be a stumbling block in acquiring an education. With determination and patience, skills and competencies can be acquired through the remaining non-visual sense modalities. First story is about Losing Your Eyes, Gaining a Purpose by Lorenzo Z. Mingyut. Si Minuan, we have been blind since she was 4, but that didn't stop this jolly major from graduating as college valedictorian. Iya yung gikuha na iyang mission kay para ma-inspired bitaw ang mga children to set their sights higher. Then growing up in San Carlos, Pangasinan, Minnie attended a regular elementary school together with other able-to-bodied children. Then iyang parents kay both doctors and naka-experience siya og a normal childhood. Then si Minnie kay after regular classes at Berhin Milagrosa Child Learning School in the morning, Minnie took Braille classes in the afternoon. Like a game, love for reading, sharp mind. Like a game, it was though, but I found enjoyment in what I was doing. Learning Braille was a like game to me. It was much easier to learn because I was having fun. Mas dali daw niya magamit ang like a game kay malingaw man siya. Then, love for reading. I always wanted to teach and I love writing and reading anyway, so why not AV English? Next kay sharp mind. She's so jolly and pleasant, it doesn't seem like she has a mean bone to her body. Then, empower children to set their sights higher. Next kay With Hands That Guide by Margot C. Cortez. 11-year-old Mary Jean Venus as a big responsibility. Nitabang siya siyang classmate niya kanang blindfold sa paggamit sa thrilling system she learned in special education class. Jean guides her classmates head on the banister and walks behind them to make sure they don't stray from the line. When they reach the top floor safely, Jean takes her classmates' hands and places them on each other elbow to form a twin. Then Jean is, I always feel happy when I get help to my other classmates, Jean says and smiling brightly. Next stories is about The Blind Tenor, Planets and Linguists by Carlos Alberto Eve. The story tells us that children with visual disabilities have the same opportunity to study in regular schools like sa kanang normal children. With the service of special education teacher, the absence of sight does not have to be a hindrance to the blind person desire to get education to prepare them for a better life in the future. Then, I am very proud to vote parents of Carlos that in spite of the difficulties during pregnancy, they never tend to abort their child. Instead, they take till the end. And they are as supportive as a parent because they didn't feel denial when they know that ilang anak kay special bitaw. Ila lang gyapon gi padayon. Wa nila gipakuha ang bata. Then, we all know that raising a child with this impairment takes a big responsibility. The next story is about turning darkness into light for blind children. Kani si Rains kay mo na siyang second of the 3 children and was born prematurely. Then, he was completely blind at the age of 3 months. Then, he is one of over 200 students who are learning to cope in the sighted world in RVI campuses in Quezon City and Cebu City. And he and 165 others from RVI Cubao Kindergarten 1 and 2 visited the Inquirer office on his birthday. Then, kani si Renz kay, he is the name of 6 years old children or the blind person who is learning his alphabet, reading a few words, making many friends, and gaining confidence that he would get a college degree someday. Then, they sang some songs and performed a dance number to celebrate World Sight Day and mark the launch of the next phase of Standard Chartered Bank's Seeing is Believing campaign. The aim of global program is restoring sight to 1 million people in countries around the world, including sa Philippines. They estimated 100 children lose their sight every week because of poor nutrition and premature birth. Over 1,000 have graduated from RVI. Then, they set their own business such as racing, rug making, and running sari-sari store. That's all.